This is Michael Moulton, Into the Rock Radio, iHeartRadio, and I want you to sit back, relax, because now we have the world premiere of my man B-Rain, Rim One, Joe Nestor. We are Cloud Gang, because guess what we're going to do? We about to move your feet. Turn it up, baby, crank it up, because here we go. We're going to move your feet.
Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams.
Your attention, please. Please do not smoke in the terminal building. Smoking is only permitted in the specified smoking area.
Come on, started with a shoebox and a trash bag. In the city where you die on a bad batch. I remember I ain't have a thing to my name. Not a couple days clean, everything gotta change. Check the record. No car, no job, just a bus pass. Yeah. Baby face, I ain't even have a mustache. You know I grew up quick, the music blew up quick. The only thing I knew what true love is. They saying life is like a movie, everybody watching. Got to keep it Gucci while we laying down the options. They say we bout a profit, but you know we bout that message. Everybody count their money and forget to count their blessings. Sunshine when the rain goes, gotta see it through the storm just to get a rainbow. I know it seems hard, you feeling all alone. How you gonna see the world staring at a phone? Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams. We in the Winnebago corner, the market like Heisenberg. The genius they cooking up, so don't try it, that line of blur. The product is so superb, you blew it so you a herb. I'ma push it to the limit, got my balls and my word. Gotta pay attention around these dudes. CO, rapping never sweating, I'm the greed, they got the BO. Numbers way up, but I wouldn't wanna be. I was heavy in the street, but cut it down. Keto, knock, knock, let them in. I've been irrelevant, ladder 49. BMO represent, Cardinals in charge, trying to play my music for your friends. This is Hunger, Mockingjay. Let the game begin, try to knock it out the park, but they heard a foul ball. Why do old switch the anthem when I get around y'all? I've been gone with the U-Haul, yeah, for too long. You getting what I'm saying? We move to evolve. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams. Joe, get 'em. Here's a dose of some daily motivation. Jay Ness with the daily inspiration. Same flow, just a different situation. Me and Cloud Gang got the music medication. Fill the script, take a hit, hold it in, breathe it out. You can feel what we're really about. Just some feel good music when you down and you out. So you don't have to ride the wave, coming right on the cloud. Let's go. Bet you didn't know that I be rapping on the down low. Got your heads bobbing up and down like the Dow Jones. Feel the groove now, bust a move now. Rocking all night long like a luau. So every time you hear that funky fresh beat drop, snap your fingers, let me see you make your knees knock. Cause we be tearing down the walls, call it sheetrock. J Ness on time like a G-Shock. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams. Until the break of dawn. Till everybody's gone. We rockin' all night long. We rockin' all night long. Until the break of dawn. Till everybody's gone. We rockin' all night long. We rockin'. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams.
Cloud Gang.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was Move Your Feet by B-Rain, Rem 1, and Joe Nestor. And that's that Cloud Gang hitter right there. You want to get access to that song, you can check it out on Spotify. The video is out on YouTube. You can check it out on Facebook. Just search for B-Rain, Rem 1, or Joe Nestor. or M to the Rock. You can look up A.live Panda, DJ D-Rock, Headbanger Visuals on the video, and Avail Visuals also on the video. And your boy, one and only A.live Panda on the audio. I had the honor and privilege of producing that song. And that's that hitter right there, man. And make sure you check that out. So this will be episode 13 of the A.live podcast. And, this episode is sponsored by your boy, Rem1. And you can check Rem1 out on Facebook.com/Rem1Official. You can check out his new merchandise. There's a store up on there. You can contact any one of us if you want to get that album, Chapter 1, Ink and Nebula. We can, hit us up for that merch, man. Like, don't be afraid to reach out. We like to communicate with our fans, and we get back to everybody that reaches out to us, because that's who we are, man. We're out in the community. We're doing this thing called recovery. We want to be visible to the people. So this episode of the podcast, this is episode 13, man. And the crazy thing about it is, like, I started this podcast probably, I think, August of 2018, and I was scared to do it. And I was like, I got the equipment set up, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. So we had my man Higgy on, and it's just grown so much. So we're on episode 13 right now, and this episode features a special guest all the way from Canaan, Connecticut. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But anyway, his name is Josh S. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado. Josh, what's up, bro?
How's it going, man?
Dude, I'm excited to have you on the podcast. Welcome to Maryland, dude.
Man, it was an honor getting down here last night.
Yeah, dude.
Yesterday was just so much fun.
We did a lot yesterday, man, and I'll tell you what, I'm still tired from it. It's crazy. Dude, I got home from work yesterday. Right, I come down to the podcast studio, and everybody's here, man. We had B Rain, the one and only. We had Rem1, the one and only. We had the one and only Kalichi from Pittsburgh, PA. We had Joe Nestor up in here from Florida, man. DJ D-Rock. We had Matty Ice, who was on the last podcast, actually. If you didn't check that out, it's episode 12. And he's a official Cloud Gang roadie. He plays a lot of roles, but good dude. Check it out, podcast 12. But man, and then you came through yesterday. So me and Matt came down to the Greyhound bus station and got you, because you rode the bus from Connecticut all the way down to Baltimore, Maryland.
I sure did, yeah.
Dude. What was that trip like for you?
Man, that trip, it was a long ride on the bus. There weren't a lot of people, luckily, so I got, got the back of the bus and,
okay,
just kind of settled in. And
now, how long was that trip for you?
6 hours.
Okay.
6 bus ride.
Okay. Did you get some rest, or were you too excited?
I took a little nap. I'd get up early. Yesterday morning, I was up about 5 o'clock.
Right.
Packing some last minute things, getting ready to come down. I couldn't sleep any longer. I was just so excited to get down here and,
dude, I'm pumped to
be
have
with
you.
the family.
Yeah, dude. And that's exactly what you are, man. You're part of the family, Dude, it's almost like we're blood, because even though we're not blood related, you're an addict, I'm an addict. We're in recovery now, and I don't know what your story is like. We're going to find out here during the podcast. But, I'm sure I can just sense the connection we have from the get-go.
Right from, when I met you guys this summer, at RecoveryFest.
Yeah.
Well, there's just been that connection.
Dude, and we're going to get to that story. And I'm excited to talk about that, because it's cool how I met you, dude. I met you in Rhode Island. And now you're here, and like, what brings you to Maryland this weekend?
Just adventuring out and recovery, and doing things that I wouldn't normally do, and just getting out of that comfort zone.
Yeah,
and getting together with other people in recovery and just, I think it's important to have fun in recovery.
Absolutely.
And, and that's what keeps me going today.
It's interesting you
it's
said
the
that.
Fun.
Yeah, dude, fun and recovery. It's interesting you said that because I just started a new series on my YouTube. It's called Fun and Recovery with A.live Panda. So I did episode 1. It's up there. It's on the YouTube. Check it out. Episode 2 actually came out last night as well. So in episode 2, me and Matt went down to pick you up at the bus station, and we were riding back in the whip, and I thought, man, let's do some carpool karaoke, right?
Yeah, man. And then Matty Ice, he's saying, "Are we gonna lip sing this? Or we gonna do this for real, man?" It was a blast. It was so much fun, that ride. But
yeah, dude.
like that moment that I saw you guys at Greyhound when I got off the bus and went out front there, like it was just like home, like,
dude, that's awesome.
That instant connection. Because we pretty much talk, every other day or so, and that's important. Like, no matter where we are in recovery, like that network, that foundation, having those people that you can talk to.
Yeah, it's so important, man. And like I said to you earlier, I think connection is really just the opposite of addiction. Because when we're in addiction, we're isolating, we're not talking, we're not reaching out to people for, to talk about anything. The only person I was reaching out to, I don't know about you, but I was just reaching out to the dope man,
Yeah, I was chained to the dope man. Like,
ball and chain, bro.
If I was still using today, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to go anywhere because I was chained to the dope man. I couldn't leave the dope man.
Correct. Yeah, I couldn't go on vacation with family without...
Yeah.
Trying to get enough, and then
I would have told you I was coming, but I definitely weren't showing up.
Right, dude. Yeah, dude. It's just crazy, man. How radically my life's changed since I came into recovery. And actually, last Monday I just celebrated a year, dude. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, man. And it was awesome when I sent you that text, and then you gave me a call. Just to check in and. You told me you were driving home to PA to see your folks, and that it's gifts of recovery that we have today. Being able to do that, man, we can go anywhere any other human being can. Like it's so amazing. I never pictured myself traveling in recovery, going to meet different people, and just building a foundation.
Yeah, dude, and that's what it's all about. You can't build a house without a foundation, right? So how are you going to build good recovery if you don't build a foundation of strong and have a good strong network around you? How are you going to build your recovery? So I want to tell the people who are listening and tuning in today, so it was DJ D-Rock's podcast. He was on here. I forget which episode it was, but we were giving away tickets to a concert, which is happening today. Like, we're gonna
tonight,
be,
man.
yeah, man. We're gonna be out at Baltimore Sound Stage tonight, and me and D-Rock were giving away 2 tickets on the podcast, and I said like the third caller.
Yeah, you had to be caller number 3.
Okay.
To win the ticket.
And who was that? Who was
that
caller
was
number
me,
3?
and
Dang,
it was
dude.
funny because I was talking to some of my roommates in my sober house, and when you said that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try calling. I said the chances of me winning are slim to none. Like, I don't win anything. I could buy a lottery ticket and I'm not gonna win.
Right.
And sure enough, I was caller 3, and it was just ironic how it all happened.
Yeah, man, I was pumped when you called in. I was like, at first I was like, wait, who is this? I think I was a little bit confused.
DJ Rock knew right off. Like, he
dude.
remembered.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so yeah. And so you're here for the concert tonight. It Takes a Village with B-Rain. So let's just talk about that. I'm super pumped. I know everyone on the team is super pumped about it. I'm just going to put the information up here. So if you didn't get a ticket, that's okay. You can show up today, or tonight rather, at 6 p.m. It's going to be at Baltimore Sound Stage in Baltimore, obviously, and it's tonight at 6. So It Takes a Village. And
definitely want to be there. It's gonna be an epic show.
The happening place to be today, for sure, or this evening rather. So B-Rain's a headlining act, man. And what are your thoughts on B-Rain, dude?
Man, B-Rain's inspired me. Going back to talking about RecoveryFest. B-Rain was one of the first people I met. I was 60 days clean at the time, and I was on the border on whether or not I was gonna stick around. I had the voice in my head telling me to go back, to numb the pain and everything. And I remember being outside the stadium in Rhode Island, where RecoveryFest was this summer, and I see three guys walking around, and because before the show they they had meetings out there and all kinds of little different events, and I see these three guys, and it happened to be B-Rain and Rem 1 and DJ Rock. And
so it's DJ D-Rock, but that's all good. It's D-Rock. He said
yeah.
DJ Rock. That's all good. I'm just letting you know. But so how was it that did you approach them?
Yeah, no, I approached them. I walked right up to B-Rain and I gave him a hug like I'd known him forever, and I just introduced myself and told him my name was Josh and I was there from Connecticut, and I gave him I was telling him my story, and it was the first time that I felt a connection with somebody. And
I'll tell you what, dude, B-Rain really knows how to give a hug, right?
He does.
He latches on and doesn't let go.
He does, and he makes you feel at home and safe.
Yeah.
And I've had that connection with him since I met him. He's helped me through some stuff and along my journey, and he's been there and a huge inspiration to me. And honestly, I don't know if I would still be here today, coming up on 8 months, if it wasn't for that day.
So for the listeners that don't know what happened in Rhode Island, what was going on that day? Why were we there,
It was RecoveryFest, a bunch of addicts.
This was 2018.
2018, yep, September of 2018. 60 days clean.
Here's a picture I want to put up from that day. It's I don't know the two on the far left.
Yeah, I don't remember who they were either.
Okay.
They had just jumped in the picture with us. Yeah.
Right. And then you got Helen, the third in from the left, and that's Brian's wife, B-Rain's wife. And you got B-Rain in the center. Then, of course, you were to the right of B-Rain. Yeah. And then I don't know who that weird looking guy that Joker is on the far right. But I think they call him A.live Panda. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. But yeah, so it was a huge concert. Macklemore was performing, and
yeah, dude.
And Cloud Gang was the opening band for him.
Yes.
Which was huge.
So pumped to play that show, dude.
Yeah.
We won a contest. It was through Above the Noise Foundation.
With Maureen.
Yes, and they were hosting the contest, and it was, the contest winner got to open up the whole day. And so not just Macklemore, but it was Fitz and the Tantrum.
Yep.
And if you don't know that song, Hand Clap, it's popular. It's on the radio. They still play it. Very popular song.
Yeah, it is.
But and it's a great song, too. But, dude, it was a baseball stadium. Right?
Yeah.
In Pawtucket, Rhode Island?
Yeah, it was in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Filled.
The Paw Sox.
Filled with addicts in recovery, dude.
Yeah, there was probably about, I want to say there had to have been, 2,000-3,000 people there.
Easily.
If not more.
Well, definitely by the end of the night when Macklemore was on, there was probably, I would say, more towards 7. But earlier in the day when we opened up, there's at least 3,000, maybe 4,000 people there, spread out
packed,
through the entire arena.
So yeah, talking about that, I met him in the parking lot outside the stadium, and I got talking to him, and B-Rain had asked me where I was sitting, and I pulled out my ticket and I showed him I was sitting in general admission, up in the stadium, just up pretty far way up there, and he
So you had seats in the stadium.
Yeah.
And so you would have been pretty far back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as I got talking to him, and you know, he reaches in his back pocket and he pulls out this ticket.
Yeah.
And he's like, I tell you what. He's like, I got. We were given 2 extra VIP tickets when we got here that we weren't expecting, and he said, I'm going to give these to you. Ooh. And you know, that it was a special moment, but I'll never forget, like, at first. How did you
feel, dude, when he handed
honestly,
them to you?
when he handed those to me, I was like, there's no way this guy's opening up here. Like, these tickets probably aren't real. And, you know, and he had told me, he's like, yeah, they're definitely real. And so when I went in to go in, and I showed him the tickets, and, you know, sure enough, they were legit. And
I can only imagine, because at this point in time, you only had 2 months clean.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that
I didn't trust anyone.
Right. No trust. And then when you figured out that the tickets were legit, you were probably overwhelmed with, like, gratitude.
Yeah, you know, like, I was just full of emotions, and I remember when the guy let me in, like, I was so pumped. You know, one of my roommates had gone, I gave him the other VIP ticket, and I looked at him and I was like, I can't believe this is happening, man. Like, this is my first concert that I've ever been to.
Dude, that's
now, like,
awesome.
Here we are literally up by the stage, and, you know, like, I will never forget either when you guys came out on stage to perform. I seen DJ D-Rock, and he looked at me and he pointed and he was pumped, you know.
Dude,
and
that's so cool.
And then once you guys started, B-Rain and Rem were performing, and you know, you guys were throwing out shirts. I caught one of the Rem 1 shirts, but
really,
yeah, and
that's funny,
I gave it away to somebody else way out in the crowd where, you know, shirts weren't making it quite as far. I just pointed to a random person and I handed him the shirt, you know, just passed it on, because, like, I had the experience of being up close, and you know, so I wanted to,
right?
Just pay it forward, and that's what I try to do today.
And real quick, because you were talking, you caught Rem 1's shirt. You're actually rocking Rem 1's newest hoodie right now. It says "Been woke, still dreaming," and that's a dope hoodie, bro. I love it. I don't even have one, so I'm kind of jealous.
Hey. Yeah, but I got the ends if you want one.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Bet that. So, and that's cool because Rem 1 is the sponsor of the podcast. And like I said, you know, you can grab his merch at Rem 1 Official at Facebook.com. So, but yeah, let's get right back into it, man. I just wanted to. So, what was your experience like? So, you told me a little bit about like what you thought your experience was like with B-Rain. You were just.
Yeah, you know,
what was it like with Rem? Like, what was your experience with Rem?
You know, with Rem as well, like, I started talking to him now, and also to kind of backtrack a little bit, too.
Sure.
You know, I've had a big trust issue with men, you know, and I'll talk about that more once we get further into the podcast. You know, I've just gone through a lot of trauma with men, so I've never really trusted men in my life. And just something told me, like, when I met B-Rain and Rem, like, instantly, like, the way it was, I don't know if it was the way they hugged me or the way they actually were listening to what I was saying. They just made me feel so welcome and a part of. And, you know, they just kept reassuring me, like, that I was doing a good thing and, you know, that good things were to come and that.
Absolutely, man.
You know, like, there was a reason for that day. And, you know, ever since then, like, I've just been in contact with Rem 1 every day, B-Rain every day. Like I said, yourself every other day.
Yeah, we've been starting to touch base more often.
Yeah.
So you're coming up on 8 months clean now, right?
Yeah, so 8 months on the 3rd.
Okay. So, yeah, RecoveryFest was, I think, early September of 2018.
It was like the middle of September. Yeah.
So now you're coming up in 8 months. I'm sure a lot has happened since RecoveryFest in your life. And, you know, before we get into what your life is like now, I kind of want to go back and talk about, you know, what your active addiction was like, what your childhood may be, whatever you want to talk about as far as your story.
Yeah, you know, and before we get started on, you know, like, my story, I'm pretty sure I sent you a picture of, like, what I had looked like,
dude. Let's pull that up.
an active addiction.
Yeah.
You know, I was definitely on the light side in weight.
Yeah, here it is.
You know, I was like 98 pounds in that picture.
Now, whose baby are you holding?
That is my sister's daughter.
Okay.
Which, you know, that I didn't see her after that for quite some time.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, you know, active addiction, like, you know, I started using it at a very young age. I started using at 13.
Okay. That was about the same age I started hitting my parents' liquor cabinet.
Yeah, you know, and, you know, I went straight for the dive. Like, I didn't mess around with, you know, weed or anything like that. Like, the first drug I ever did was heroin.
Damn, dude.
You know, 13 years old. First thing I ever did was heroin.
That's crazy.
Now, like, I was in Florida at that point. That's where I was raised. Until I was 13 and a half. Then my mom had moved us to Vermont. So, you know, I remember as a child, like, I had like, my mom was a single mom, raising three of us. I'm the middle of three. And my father, he wasn't in the picture. He was gone when I was young. The last time I remember him being around, I was 6 years old. And, you know, like, I deal with a lot of stuff right now based on that, with my father, because, you know, like, one thing I've learned is, like, the trauma I've been through with him, I express it today, you know, like, I think it's important, because for the longest time, like, I kept that stuff inside. So, you know, like, it's important for me to remember the physical, the verbal, and the sexual abuse that he put me through. You know, he had molested me when I was young. Like, he took full advantage of me, and, you know, and it's been tough. Like, I've kept that in for many years, and that's been part of the reason that, you know, like, I started using it. I didn't want to feel that pain. I didn't want to remember that, and, you know, I always felt like my mom favored my sisters as well. You know, and so, like, I pretty much had freedom to just run because my mom, like, there were no consequences for what I was doing. But, you know, like, I played sports, you know, like, but I still had full freedom to just do whatever I wanted. Like, there were no consequences. I'd get arrested. I remember the first time I got arrested in Florida when I was 13. And, you know, the police had called my mom, and she came and got me, and there was no consequences. Like, I was back out within an hour. I was back out on the street just doing what I was doing. Like, so I just figured, you know, that was okay to do, because there was never any real consequences at home for it. So I said, you know, if I'm not going to get in trouble at home, I can just do whatever I want. Like, who cares? You know, my sisters, they were the favorites.
Now, as far as age, like, are you the oldest? Are you the youngest? You're in the middle?
Middle.
Okay.
I have one sister that's older, and then a younger sister.
Okay.
I have somewhat of a relationship with my older sister. You know, but that's a rocky subject right now.
Yeah. Talk about whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah,
about.
And I talked to you about it yesterday when I had gotten in town. You know, so, and my younger sister, I don't have a relationship with. I haven't had a relationship with her in years. We just were never close. We just kind of did our own thing. So, you know, and then like I said, my mom moved us to Vermont. And when I got into Vermont, you know, it wasn't long before I picked up where I was before we had gotten there. You know, I quickly found the crowd of people that I wanted to be around. I mean, as you know, as addicts, like, we find it. We have a way of sniffing out no matter where we go.
Right.
You know, and so it was a matter of time before I was getting arrested there as well. You know, by the time I was 15, I had already racked up, or I should say, I had already been arrested probably about 30 times.
Dude, that's...
You know, I had picked up possession charges, burglary charges. You know, as a result of that, the state had taken me, and I went to state custody, and, you know, like, that still wasn't enough to slow me down. And then I got locked up in juvenile detention for 9 months, and, you know, that still wasn't enough. Like, I was like, this is all a joke. Like, who cares? These are just small punishments. And I'd get out, and I'd just pick up where I was. You know, so I was in state custody until I was 18. You know, and I was still in school through this whole time, and I'd struggled in school. You know, I was on what they call a 504, which is, you know, like a special education program that they have. Because I had trouble. I had trouble in school. School wasn't great for me. The only part of school I liked was math for some reason. Math. Like, I've always been strong in math, which is, it kind of makes sense. You know, and I remember when I was 18, I had gone to school for a meeting because they wanted me to have, like, somebody one-on-one with me throughout the day. And I went to this meeting at the school my senior year at the beginning of the year, and they told me the only way I could be in the school is if I had this person. And I remember looking at them all and telling them, you guys are out of your mind. Like, I'm not going to have someone following me around in class. And I said, matter of fact, like, I don't even need a diploma. I'm a drug addict and a criminal. Like, I don't need no diploma. Like, there's no special degree to do it.
Right. You'll figure out what you need to do to get your next fix. You don't need a degree. You know,
I remember telling them, I was like, I'm just going to go get high. Like, screw you guys. I don't plan on coming back here. You know, but I did end up getting my diploma when I was 21, but I got it in prison.
Okay, sure.
You know, and I was comfortable with that, with the fact, like, being in and out of jail, because I'd been doing it for so long. You know, and I'd been in institutions, and, you know, I could never make it a day clean during this whole time, and I was putting my mom through hell. I'd had my mom's house raided 3-4 times.
I can relate to that.
Yeah,
I had my parents' home raided one time, but, like, man, I'm telling you, the police officers, they just didn't have any respect, dude. They just tore everything up, broke stuff, looking for drugs, and just, yeah, dude. I remember sitting handcuffed to the couch, right, and my dad's sitting next to me, and there's a police officer keeping an eye on us, and my dad's like, what's going on right now? And I just had, like, no words to tell him. Because, to be honest, I didn't even know what was happening. Why was I getting raided? Like, I'm not selling drugs. But, you know, someone had informed the officers that they would find who knows what.
Right.
And they found a small amount of marijuana. And, you know, but it happened as a result of my addiction.
Yeah, you know, and I'll never forget that first time that my mom's house got raided. You know, they came in, you know, there must have been 20 cops, and, you know, they booted the door in because my room was the living room. Like, that was my room, and so there's a back door and a front door. And I had seen them out the window because I heard a bunch of commotion. So I looked out the window and I seen them. And I heard them pound on the door. And I wasn't obviously about to answer the door. I'm trying to hide stuff in the house.
Right.
And my mom had no clue that I even had anything in the house because I used to tell her, I would never bring it in your house. I wouldn't do that to you. But as you know, like, we lie. We lie and we manipulate.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, they booted the door in. And it was just game over. And I remember, you know, being handcuffed out on the steps, and looking in and seeing my mom crying, and I was just like, oh, she's overreacting. There's no reason to cry right now. Like, and then when the cops had actually started pulling stuff out, she started crying even more, and I was just like, I was trying to argue with the cops that they planted it there, that the stuff wasn't mine. I was like,
even though you knew, right?
Yeah, I was like, you guys pulled that out of your pocket. That ain't mine.
Yeah, like you're trying to put on a show for your mom. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Make her, try to comfort her by acting like it wasn't yours.
Yeah, and I stuck to that story for a long time.
Probably years, right?
Yeah, for the longest time.
Really?
Every time it would come up, I'd tell her, I'd be like, Mom, they really did plant it. Like, I just said yes because I didn't want to argue it.
Right.
And, you know, rest in peace to my mom. She passed away last year.
God rest her soul, man.
You know, but yeah, so, you know, I went through all that. And, you know, I've always kept that pain inside, like, about what my father did. And, you know, and every other man my mom had gotten with, they all were physically and verbally abusive to me. You know, and she never did anything to stop that. She never really put an end to it. So, you know, I always felt neglected. Granted, my mom was my best friend, but I always felt like I wasn't good enough. You know, so I always wanted to numb that pain. You know, and even doing the prison sentences that I've done, being institutionalized, like, I still would only be clean for a day. Like, I always found a way to still use, even when I was locked up. You know, so from 13 straight through, like, I'd only be clean for, like, a day, if that. I can never do it. I never knew about recovery. I didn't even really, honestly, want to get clean. Like, I was comfortable with the life that I was living.
I can relate to that. Can you pull the mic a little bit closer to you? Cool.
You know, and
there we go. That's better.
And I was okay with that. I was okay with being a junkie. Like, that was my life. I was okay with it. That's what I was known as. You know, I was known by all the local authority. Like, I thought that was the cool thing. Like, it's like, you know, it was fun for a long time.
Yeah.
And then
I can relate to that, dude.
And then it quickly got boring. You know, it was a matter of time before I was by myself.
Sure. And then I mean, that's a scary thought, really, if you think about it, because you're by yourself, you're trapped in your own head, you're sick and you're suffering. And, like, I can speak for myself when I can say, like, it's a scary place to be.
It really is. You know, and I remember the first time that I overdosed, you know, there was nobody around. I'm like, why aren't any of these friends, you know, around? And I remember one time specifically, 2 years ago, I'd gotten some stuff that was really bad, and I started to feel weird, and so I called somebody that I thought was a friend, and he's like, oh, I'll be right there. And the next thing I knew, I was waking up in a hospital with my chest being pounded on. I was like, where's this friend? But I was still convinced that these people were my friends. You know, he told me he was busy, that he had tried making it, and, you know, I didn't remember what happened. So I was convinced that he actually, like, showed up to try and help me. And, you know, I had a bunch of experiences like that. You know, but active addiction, like, I have to keep that in the front of my mind, what it was like when I was actively using. You know, and I went through some tough times while I was using, as we all do, but one of the hardest things that I had to do was, so, you know, last year my mom had passed away. I had taken off, in September of 2017, I took off and went to South Carolina.
Okay.
With my best friend. I was going to do this change and get away from the crowd that I was in.
Now, this friend, was he also in active addiction, or? He
still is to this day.
Okay.
It was basically my partner in crime. And so we went to South Carolina, and it just got worse as soon as I got there. And I remember 2 weeks before Christmas, I called my mom, and she had told me that she had got pneumonia and that she was sick. And I was like, well, I'm coming home for Christmas. I said, but I'm only going to be up for a week, and then I'm coming back to South Carolina. I was like, I'm clean down here. Life's good. Like, I was trying to convince my mom that I was doing really good. But I really wasn't. And as soon as I got back to Vermont, a week after being back, my mom was in the hospital because the pneumonia had gotten so bad. And I didn't go see her at all, but I remember December 27th of 2017, I called the hospital to talk to my mom just to see how she was doing and, see if she needed anything because I was going to go see her. And so the nurses had transferred me to her room. And when she answered the phone, she's like, I can't breathe. And I was like, Mom, push the panic button. And she's like, what are you talking about? I don't know where I am. So I quickly hung up the phone and I called the nurses station back. And I had told them, I was like, my mom can't breathe. I gave them her name and the room she was in.
Yeah.
I was like, can you guys please go find out what's going on? Like, this is serious. And so the nurse said, yeah, and we'll call you right back and let you know what's going on. Within 15 minutes, I had got a phone call back from the hospital. And they'd asked me if it was okay to put her on life support. And I had said, most definitely, can you tell me what's going on? And they were telling me she can't breathe on her own. So then I called my sister, my oldest sister, and I told her what was going on. And so she's like, all right, well, I'll keep you up to date, because I told her from that point, like, she just needed to keep up with everything, that it was too much for me. And I ended up overdosing that night.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Because I was trying to numb all the pain.
Yeah. And that doesn't add any element of...
It made it worse.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't help at all, for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
It was tough.
So that was the night that she passed away?
No, this was the night that they put her on life support.
Okay, right.
This was probably I was actually January 2nd that they put her on life support. And then on January 5th, they transferred her to a different hospital because they couldn't treat her and it wasn't getting better at the hospital she was at. So they transferred her to a different hospital. And
higher level of care, probably.
Yeah.
Could better treat her.
Where they could, do more tests and try to figure out what was going on.
Okay.
And at this point, we had learned that she had the flu as well on top of pneumonia. So it didn't help the case at all. And so January 9th of 2018, my older sister called me and she said, can you stay clean today? And I laughed, and she's like, why are you laughing? And I was like, I've been on a 5-day bender. Like, there's no way that can even happen. I said, because I've been up all night using.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're not using the rest of the day. I'm coming to get you. And I was like, you're out of your freaking mind. Like,
right.
What are you thinking?
Right.
I said, and furthermore, where are we going?
Yeah,
You think you're coming to get me for?
Sure.
And then she's like, well, where are you? I said, see, that's the funny part. You don't even know where I am. So how are you coming to get me?
Right.
And then so she told me, she's like, well, we're going to see Mom. And so I finally told her where I was. And I remember when she came and got me, she had her husband with her, and my oldest niece. And before I could get in the car, my sister wanted to search me. But I already knew that something was up. So obviously, like, I had hid everything on my person where she wasn't going to find it. And so I'd asked her, I was like, what are we doing? And she said, well, we're going to go see Mom. And I was like, all right, cool. I said, how is everything going? And she's like, you'll find out when we get there. And so I figured, maybe she was doing good, because I hadn't even called the hospital, nothing. Like, I just shut everything off. And, stopped trying to call her, call the hospital, find out. Like, I was just doing my own thing, just numbing the pain. And so we got to the hospital, and when we got there, I attempted to go see my mom in ICU.
Okay.
And the nurse had told me, she's like, you're actually not permitted to go back there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not permitted to go back there. And she's like, well, your mom's husband said that he doesn't want you back there because you're a drug addict. And it's going to put your mom under stress.
Okay.
And I was like, are you kidding me?
Right.
And so, but my sister had already told me what room my mom was in.
Okay.
But at the time, like, I attempted to just go down to see my mom. They're like, the doctor's coming out. You guys are having a meeting with the doctor. And so we go in this big meeting, and my mom's husband was in this meeting, and this guy and I don't see eye to eye at all. He said to me, he's like, after this and the decision's made, you can go see your mom. And I was like, all right, cool. So the doctor come in, and he's telling us everything that's going on. And he told us, like, there was no hope that, taking her off life support, she would probably be alive for like 5 more days. And so my sister turned to me, and she's like, do you want to take Mom off life support? You know her the best. And that day was tough. Like, I had to really stop and think about it and what would be the best decision. And it was hard, too, because I'm under the influence of some sort of chemical.
Sure.
So, obviously, my mind's not processing things right. So, I instantly I was like, take her off. She wouldn't want to do this. And part of me had spoke so quickly because I just wanted to go back and see her. And so they had asked me if I was positive about this decision. And I was like, like, she wouldn't want to suffer. Like, let's let her go in peace. And
that's a tough call to make, dude, especially in active addiction. Like, did you second guess your decision at all?
I did.
Yeah.
I definitely did.
But now looking back in hindsight, what would you say you made the best decision?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah,
good. So that's good. You didn't have to live on with any regret of that decision then. Correct.
But unfortunately, after I made that decision, her husband had said, and just so you know, you're not going back to see your mom. And I'd lost all coolness that I'd had.
Sure. Rightfully so.
And they had called security on me because I started flipping chairs and, the tables and, because I was highly upset. And so the security came, they escorted me out of the room where everybody was meeting, brought me out to the waiting room, and they were talking to me. They calmed me down, and they left. And now, my sister, like I had said, my sister had told me what room my mom was in. So I saw another family come in, and they were going to see someone down the hall where my mom was.
Okay.
And so,
I see where this is going already.
So, well, then when they got lit in, because you had to phone in to the desk and tell them who you were there seeing. So as soon as I saw those doors open and that family going in,
sure,
I went
stuck in with
behind.
them.
I went right behind them.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, I went right behind them.
So did you get to the room to see your
Yeah,
mom?
I made it. I made it
Dude.
to the room, and when the doctors came in to take the tubing out, they asked me. They're like, "How'd you get in here?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it, but I've got ways." And
yeah.
they're like, nobody else is gonna come in, right now. In a way, they're like, so I tell you what, because we don't agree with the decisions that were made.
Yeah.
And this is your mom. You're her only son. You have a right to get some peace with her.
Sure.
We just ask that you just go outside by the nurse's station while we take all the tubes and everything out.
Sure.
And so, I really respected that fact that they allowed me to do that.
Yeah, dude, that's...
And they had told the other nurses and everything that had told me before that I couldn't come in.
Right.
Not to bother me. They told them what was going on. And so they were all cool about it. They gave me their condolences. And after they had taken all the tubes out, I went in, and then I was in there for a good 10 minutes, and then one of the doctors came in, and they told me the rest of the family had decided they didn't want to come in the room because they didn't want to be in there when my mom took that last breath, because they felt like it would do a lot of trauma to them. So they'd asked me if I wanted to stay in there, and I was like, yeah, but if the rest of the family ask you where I am, just tell them that security took me out or something, like that. They brought me outside away from the situation. And so that's what they did, I was able to be in there and hold my mom's hand as she took that last breath.
Wow, dude.
And I remember telling my mom, before that, literally like 2 minutes before she took that breath, that someday I will get this. I will figure it out. I can't promise you when, but
And
I
she's
will get
speaking
it.
in regards to your addiction.
Yeah.
And getting into recovery, right?
Yeah, because my mom had always begged me to get clean. She always wanted me to, do better. Because she knew I had a lot of potential.
Well, sure, dude. Yeah.
And
We all do. Like, when we're in active addiction, our ability to see our potential and ourselves completely goes out the window. And for me, I know it helped a lot to get that encouragement from family members. Like, hey, you can do so much with your life. Why don't you try to get off the drugs, So yeah, that's a heart-wrenching story, and I'm sorry that you lost your mom, man, and God rest her soul.
yeah, 15 years of using is, how long I'd been using for. And that night that my mom had passed, I overdosed that night. I actually, within a week there, I'd overdosed 6 times.
Oh my God, dude, you're lucky to be alive, man.
I really am.
Especially the
God
stuff
of my
that's-
understanding is, had a plan for me, all along.
So let me. I kind of want to divert the topic a little bit. So what? What was? I don't know how I should ask. What was your last day of using? Did
that's
you know?
actually that's what I was about to get
really?
into.
Okay, so yeah, what? Tell me about that.
So
what
February-
brought you into recovery?
February 11th,
Okay, 2017 or 18?
2018.
Okay.
I had broken into the place where my mom had lived, and I had lived with her. Her husband was still living there, and I had broken in the house that
Okay.
night. And I had called 911, and I told him, I said, I'm about to attempt suicide with an overdose. But I wouldn't tell them where I was at. But somehow, the local authority, they know me so well, they knew where I was.
Okay.
Or I thought that's how they knew. But
Sure.
come to find out, they had tracked my phone.
Okay, fair enough.
You know.
Yeah, so they knew who you were regardless. They were like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't even tell them my name or anything, but they knew my voice.
Okay.
You know.
Well, that's good in the sense that, you know, if you were ready to do that and end it, dude, like, it's good that you were kind of in that position that they knew who you were, or you wouldn't be sitting here with me today, man.
Yeah.
That would just,
you know, and the last thing I remember from that night was the next thing I knew, I was waking up in the hospital. And, in Vermont, if they know that you're going to harm yourself, they'll involuntarily admit you to a psych ward.
Yes. That's what they do,
you know,
in Maryland and Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah, I mean, some states, they don't do it, but I think they're doing it more and more now where they will. And so, you know, I remember the 24 hours into being in the psych ward, I was detoxing hard, cold turkey.
No, you're good. Just bring it a little closer to you. Bring the mic closer to your mouth. Yeah, there we go.
I was detoxing cold turkey,
Cool,
and they wouldn't give me anything for it. Like, I was trying, like, hell.
Oh, I'm sure.
To get anything to help. And,
sure.
you know, it was
any addict would do.
It was horrible.
So you're in the psych ward.
In the psych ward with a bunch of crazy people running around screaming.
Yeah.
You know, all
you're
these
just like,
different...
man, I just want my fix and to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, I can't stop shaking. I can't stop vomiting. I can't stop shitting myself.
Ugh,
and
miserable.
man, I don't miss that at all. And so finally the second day that I was there, I was like, can we call a rehab? Like, I was like, this is my way out. Like, let me call a rehab. I had never been to rehab prior. But I knew that it existed because they had told me about it. And they're like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, like, let's give them a call. And I figured by calling, my idea was I'd be able to leave that day to go to treatment, but I wouldn't really go to treatment. I would use that as my scapegoat to get out of the hospital.
Okay.
And when I called the treatment center, they told me they wouldn't have a bed for 10 days.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, are you kidding me? So
Yeah.
then they told me that I had to stay in the psych ward until this bed was available. And I was like, all right, perfect. I said, I got a ride. You guys don't need to worry about it. I've got somebody that'll bring me. Mm-hmm. Now, I still had that in the back of my mind. Like, I'm not going to treatment.
Right.
Like, I'm going back out to do what I know best.
Okay. Now, would have this been the first time that you went to treatment or no?
Yes. I ended up going to treatment.
So it was the first time or no?
Yeah, that was the first time that I went.
Okay.
I've been to treatment twice.
Okay.
And so I went to treatment. I was there for 46 days. However, when I was there, I half-assed it. I told them what they wanted to hear, but I didn't mean anything I had said. Mm-hmm. And so I was there 46 days. And then from there, I had gone to sober living. And within now, like, the 46 days is the longest I'd ever had clean. 90 days, I said, you know what, screw this. Like, I can go out and drink. Like, my whole thing's been drugs. I don't have a drinking problem.
Common misconception for addicts is that alcohol is not a drug, but that's not the case.
Alcohol is a drug, period.
Correct.
You know, alcohol brought me to my knees a lot quicker than the drugs did.
Yeah, man.
I was back out. My relapse lasted 2 weeks. And
so you were drinking for 2 weeks, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it brought me to my knees quicker. I had taken off back to South Carolina. I'd gotten on a bus in the middle of the night. I'd left the sober house. I had told the management of the sober house. So I was like, yo, I'm going to check myself in the psych ward. I got some mental issues I need to work on. And they're like, all right, well, just call and let us know what's going on. So what I did was I packed all my clothes and I called an Uber, and the manager was listening to my phone call. So I told them that I was going to the hospital. Mm-hmm. So then I went to the hospital and I used the phone at the hospital and called the sober house back from the hospital. And I told them, yeah, hey, they're going to admit me for 2 weeks and then I'll be back. Mm-hmm. But I had already had another Uber on the way to come get me to bring me to the bus station. And I thought that I had the sober house convinced. So when I had hit bottom, first I called the sober house and I said, yo, I'm getting out of the hospital tomorrow. I got to use somebody else's phone to call them when I was in South Carolina. And I blocked the number. And I was like, I'm getting out tomorrow. Can I come back? And they told me, they're like, are you kidding me? You haven't been at the hospital. Like, we know where you are. Did you forget, like, you're friends with some of us on social media? And here you are posting stuff on social media about being in South Carolina. And I was just like I had froze.
Caught you red-handed, dude. There was no backing out at that point.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. And so I called my therapist from treatment, and I told her, I was like, you know, like, I need to get back in. I said, however, I'm like 1,300 miles away. And she's like, what do you mean? What have you get yourself into? I was like, oh, you know, like, I took off to South Carolina. I said, I have no money left. I've been drinking. And then she's like, well, just call me tomorrow and we'll do an intake, because I called after hours and nobody was in admissions to do an intake. And so apparently, like, I don't remember calling that next day because I had been so intoxicated. And apparently it took me like 3 hours to do an intake that should have taken a half hour. And so then I had apparently done the intake and I called that following day, not remembering doing the intake. And the therapist told me, she's like, you know that you have like 3 days to get here? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I have no way to get there. Did you forget? Like, I'm in South Carolina with no money and no means to get back. And she's like, well, I tell you what. She's like, we will get you a bus ticket back to treatment if you're really going to come back. And I said, yeah, like, I want to get back in treatment. And I said, now the other issue is I don't have a ride to the bus station. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, let me make a phone call and I'll call you right back. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right. And so, like, 15 minutes goes by and she had called me back and she's like, the police are on the way to get you. And I was like, what? I said,
that's a little alarming, especially.
I was like, you didn't give them my name, did you?
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know if I have outstanding warrants anywhere. Like, I said, I've never dealt with any of this. And she's like, get your ass outside right now. She's like, because you have told me quite a bit and you need to get your ass outside so they don't go in that hotel. And I was like, wait a minute, like, what have I told you? And she had told me everything I told her, and she's like, just get outside. And I was like, all right. So I had walked out, and all of a sudden, like, 4 cruisers pull up, and I'm like, all this just to bring me to a bus station? Like, what is really going on?
Seriously.
And so, and I had a bottle of liquor in my hand, and I tried convincing the cops to let me bring it with me. And they're like, you can't take that. And, you know, at this point, they're like, you know, like, you're lucky that the therapist called us and told us, like, you need a courtesy ride to the bus station to get to treatment. And I was like, well, what the hell does this mean? And they started, like, telling me all the stuff that I had done the night before that the hotel had called them about. And I was like, oh, shit. And then so they brought me to the bus station, and they had told me, if you don't go to treatment and you end up staying here, we will arrest you, and you will not be welcome back in the state ever again.
So I bet that was good incentive for you to go.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You know, so I ended up, it was a 2-day bus ride back to Vermont to treatment. And when I got into treatment at this point, you know, there was a light that clicked.
Okay.
I was ready to finally do the change. I had started to open up about all the stuff that I'd been through, that I kept in for so long. And I remember sitting on the therapist's couch and just crying and crying. And this was the first time I'd ever cried, like, in years. Because even, like, the first time that I went through treatment, like, I didn't let any emotions out. And then this kid came in, another kid came in, who I actually bonded with, and we're roommates at our sober house now. We've been on this journey together. I remember opening up to him and he was the first person I told about being molested by my father. And once I got that weight off my shoulder, I just felt like I could open up. Like, I'd finally felt like 1,000 pounds was off my shoulders. And I went into the therapist's office and I started telling her, you know, about everything that was going on. And I'd sat in there for a good 2 hours just crying and pouring out all the stuff that I kept in for so long, you know, being abused by all these different men, feeling neglected, not grieving my mom's death, you know, and just feeling like I was never good enough, and that I was never going to be good enough, that I was just a piece of shit and a junkie, and that's all I was ever gonna be. It was like, there's no way I can change at, you know.
I had those same feelings, man.
At 29, you know, like, I was 29, which I still am, you know, because I had just turned 29 when I had relapsed. And I was convinced, like, I was going to be stuck in that cycle. You know, I was always in jail or something. Like, I was okay with that, like, jail and institutions. Sure. And the idea of death, that was perfectly fine with me. I was okay with that.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that was brought up earlier, last night, actually, at the meeting, is that, you know, addicts aren't scared of death. They're scared to live. Addicts and active addiction. Now that I'm clean, it's the opposite, you know. But
yeah,
if you're having those feelings of self-doubt, like, I'm not good enough, like, that's completely normal for an addict who's using to have those feelings. But now that you're clean, dude, you've realized that I'm assuming, and I would hope that you realize that those thoughts, that's just your disease talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, and through the last 8 months, like, it hasn't been easy by any means. But
absolutely,
you know, just one more thing that I want to touch on about, like, while I was in treatment this last time. So, my clean date is July 3rd of 2018. Mm-hmm. I remember July 21st. My therapist came and got me at a group, and she's like, you need to call your sister right now. And I was like, what the hell? Like, is my sister okay? Like, my sister, like, she never talked to me when I was in jail. She didn't talk to me when I was in the psych ward. Yeah. And
so instantly you thought something was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we go in her office, and I call my sister, and she's like, are you sitting down? And I was like, no, like, I'm getting ready to go eat dinner. What do you want? Why are you calling here?
Yeah.
She's like, well, I want to be the first to tell you our father committed suicide. Oof.
Damn, dude.
And I was like,
That's
good
a curveball.
I was
dude.
like, good for that fucking piece of shit. Like, he deserves that for molesting me. I was like, you know how I feel. I was like, I'm sorry, but I gotta go.
Wow,
And then I
dude.
just sat down and I started bawling.
Yeah.
And it was weird how that happened, because the day before that happened, my therapist had me write a letter to my father, like, explaining, like, how I'd felt, and I wanted answers. And we had just stuck the letter in the mail that day
Okay.
to be mailed out to him.
To him. Wow.
Explaining, like, all this and me wanting closure.
Sure.
Because we were going to arrange it for him to come to the treatment facility so we could do a little session and I could get some closure and answers to all this stuff that I'd been through, all the trauma. You know, granted, the last time I'd seen the man was when I was 6 years old, but I wanted him to know, like, the pain that he had put me through.
Sure.
And so then I'm relieved. I'm like, you know, there's another weight off my shoulders. The man committed suicide, so at least I know he didn't die peacefully. And then I'm sad.
Yeah.
Then I'm happy. Then I'm sad. And then I'm loving this man.
Roller coaster of emotions. That's something that's very common when we first get clean, is like those ups and downs, like not knowing how you feel about something, you know, just getting your feelings back for the first time in a long time. So I can imagine that, you know, you didn't really...
I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to process it.
Right.
And, you know, and I'm very thankful that I found that out while I was in treatment. Granted, like,
Absolutely.
I didn't have any thoughts of wanting to go out and use relief treatment. I was able to have time and the right people around me to learn how to cope and deal with these emotions. You know, and I still deal with it today. So after treatment, I relocated to Connecticut.
Okay.
Which is where I'm living now, in a sober house.
Good for you, dude. That's good structure for someone new to recover.
I've been at the sober house for 7 months.
That's why I moved here and moved in with B. Rain and his wife and, you know, his family, is because I needed that structure. For me, I had lacked structure in my active addiction for so long. I didn't know how to live on my own. I tried to create my own structure, living on my own will. Like, I had no accountability, you know, so that coming here to live gave me accountability, someone that I trust, you know. And at first I moved in here, I trusted them. They didn't really trust me because they've been around long enough to know what my patterns are, see my addict behavior, and, like, just being reintroduced to society with some guidance. Right.
So they knew you when you were active.
Oh, yeah, dude. I've known B. Rain for 5, going on 6 years, you know, and I've only lived here for a year and 1/4 a year. A year and 3 months, something like that. A year and 6 months I've lived here, I guess. I don't know. Over
Long
a year.
enough.
yeah. But I've known, you know, I knew B. Rain and his wife and active addiction. I struggled for a long time, man. To me, I keep telling people, you know, that have been congratulating me on getting 1 year clean this past week, you know, it only took me 15 years to get a year clean, you know. It's like thinking about that is insane, man. That's insanity.
I never imagined, you know, being 8 months clean.
Yeah, dude. I never thought I could get a year clean. I'd see other people do it, like, yeah, that guy, he can get a year
you know,
clean.
like, when I've heard
Not
people
me, though.
getting years and, you know, a year mark where, you know, 10 years, I'm like, there's no way that's possible. Like, these
Right.
people are out of their mind. Like, they're not doing this right.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, and then when, like, I've heard people had fun. Like, I was like, people don't have fun in recovery. Recovery's boring. There's nothing fun about it. But
you're finding out that that's not the case.
Man, yesterday when I got down here, and, you know, doing karaoke in the car, like
Yeah, you never thought you'd be coming to Baltimore and doing karaoke.
Yeah, no,
in the car.
and then as soon as and then, on the way down, like, the first thought I had, I text you, I was like, please tell me there's a vape store somewhere.
Right.
I need a vape juice.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never thought of that before, but, being able to go to the vape store and the music store and then,
come here.
Coming to the house and, like, walking
playing some Mario Kart, too, right?
Yeah, I played Mario Kart with B-Rain, Rem 1, Joe Ness.
I was in here trying to take a nap.
Yeah, you were trying to take a nap, But I remember walking in the house here yesterday, and as soon as B-Rain seen me again, like, just the smile he had and the way he said my name and that hug. And, another thing that is going to stick with me from yesterday is, after our meeting, like, me and B-Rain, like, we were hugging outside the meeting, and, and he told me, he's like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but at some point, you're going to be able to give back to somebody else, and you're going to understand why I show you the love that I do and why I've been there for you through this.
That's inspiring, dude.
He's inspired me a lot. He's
inspired me too,
like you inspire me too, like,
dude,
the way we've been in contact, like,
I appreciate that.
You guys are all answer the phone. Like, it's not just when I'm in Connecticut. Like, my network expands outside of that.
And, like I was saying early on in the podcast, like, the inspiration is reciprocated. Like, dude, I don't have that much more clean time than you. And
what time did you wake up today? What time did you wake up today? Dude,
I woke up at like 6:45, 7 o'clock. I was like...
All right, so
you mean yesterday?
I've got more
today. I don't know. Yeah, I woke up at 6:45 today. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So you got more clean time than me today.
Well, what time did you get out? Because you had to get on the Greyhound.
Well, yesterday was Greyhound.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, dude. This weekend has been crazy, dude. And we have the Baltimore Sound Stage tonight, dude. It's I'm pumped, dude. So anyway, I just want to touch on it quick because we are kind of on a time crunch with doing the concert today. We gotta start moving our feet.
Yeah, man.
Around one of Esther would say, you gotta move your feet, right? So I do want to touch over the next like 5-10 minutes some of the gifts that your recovery has given you since you've come around.
So, one of the biggest gifts is being able to travel.
Yeah,
being able to pay for stuff on my own. Being able to help other addicts that are struggling and may not realize like the gifts that we get today and that recovery is possible.
Bars.
and being able to be there for people today. Being able to show up to work, trying to be the best possible role model I can for the new guys that come into our sober house.
See, there you go. Dude, you're already inspiring people, I guarantee it.
We just had this kid that just moved in 3 weeks ago, and when he first moved in, he told me, he's like, I'm staying here for a month and I'm going home.
Okay.
And I looked at him and I was like, kid. I said, how old are you?
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, I just turned 21.
Okay.
And I was like, man, if I could go back to when I was 21, like, I would do this all differently than I have.
Straight
but then
up,
I
dude.
thought about it and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't do it differently because I wouldn't be who I am today. I was like, can I ask you to think about something? And he's like, what? I was like, how about you think about making a commitment with me to stay here until May? I said, give it until May before you make a decision to leave. And just on Friday when I had gotten home from work, he said, yo, Josh, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah, what up? He's like, yo, I'm going to stay until May.
Dude.
And I was like, all right. I said, now the next thing I want you to do is get a job. And he's like, well, actually, speaking of that, he's like, I just got a job today.
What?
And I was like, say what?
That's
I said,
awesome, dude. How long does this guy have clean?
He's got 2 months, actually. So
if he continues to stay clean and take suggestions like that, man,
he'll be good.
Yeah, and that's
what it's funny
really
like
all
that.
about, man.
It's funny that he's 60 days taking those type of suggestions from me, because when I was 60 days, and I had met B Rain and Rem One and you and you know. Listen, I was taking suggestions.
Dude, all it takes is one day of recovery to inspire another recovering addict, man. Like, I could be one day clean and inspire someone with more clean time than me just because I stayed clean today. And yesterday I was out there, getting it in. And, it inspires the old timers, the newcomers coming in. Dude, it keeps it fresh for people with
the only people that have more clean time is the person that woke up first today.
Right.
Like, honestly, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, man.
And I chase my recovery like I chase that dope man.
That's what you got to do, because it is.
I didn't hesitate to call that dope man. I didn't hesitate to go to his house 10 times a day. I sure in the hell.
Right. So there's no excuse to not make a meeting today. There's no excuse not to do something proactive for your recovery.
Because there wasn't a day that I didn't go to the dope man, so there isn't going to be a day that I don't go to a meeting.
Yeah, whatever it may be, meeting, working on step work, calling your sponsor.
Step work's
praying,
crucial.
Everything. Yeah, we're in a 12-step program. If we're not working on step work, I mean, working on shit, really.
Yeah,
we're just clean. We're not recovering.
I just got to the 3rd step with my sponsor before coming down here. So
really, that's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
I stay in contact with my sponsor.
Keep moving your feet, man. And so that brings me to, because we really do have to start wrapping up, man. It's getting late in the day. We got to go set up for Baltimore Sound Stage tonight, and I just wanted to kind of close in talking about that. I mean, is there anything else you really wanted to cover in the next couple minutes?
No, I think I covered a lot. Yeah.
And dude, I look forward to having you back on the podcast in the future, down the road when we both have more clean time. Yeah. And we can reconnect, and I was telling you, keep it put in your calendar, July 13th. See this big old poster,
music festival. Yeah,
that's here in Westminster, man, and it's
well, another thing too for people to know too. I believe it's Memorial Weekend. B Rain said you guys are gonna be up in Connecticut.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at the date right now.
I heard DJ D-Rock say there's something in motion to go to Vermont. There's some big things in the plans for the summer.
Definitely.
And I look forward to being a part of all this. It's an honor.
So this is what I have here. Today, February 24th, which I'm just going to touch on that a little more. Again, if you don't have tickets, come out tonight anyway. You can get your tickets at the doors, $12 admission. You
don't want to miss it.
You really don't. It takes a village with B Rain, featuring B Rain with special guests Joe Nestor, Rem One, Jam Alker, the Kid M, Prospect, and Los. And I'm gonna be up there DJing for Prospect and Los's set. They're the opening performers. And then I'm not exactly sure the final order, but you're not gonna want to miss any of them, man. Jam Alker Band, they are slaying it from all the way from Chicago, Illinois. The Kid M is actually from Carroll County right here in the area as well, but Joe Nestor came up from Florida. Rem One's from, Baltimore as well. So, but yeah, man, we're so pumped about this this show. So come out tonight at 6 p.m. Come a little early. Get there at 5:30. Get a good front stage view because you're not gonna want to miss this, man. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you don't know that's happening in the works for this, man, and you're really in for a cool show.
I can just imagine, and make sure you get your merchandise tonight too.
That's right. Rem One, Cloud Gang, Be Rain merch.
These new hoodies,
stuff,
the new hoodies are gonna be there.
You got the Dope Without Drugs hoodies. The original OG We Are Cloud Gang, like this T-shirt here.
The We Are Cloud Gang.
We got the hoodies in this.
You got the Rem 1 hoodies.
There might even be some leveled up tank tops there. We got
the new
Ben Woke
hoodies
Still
here.
Dreaming, man.
Ben Woke Still Dreaming.
So, but aside from Soundstage, May 27th will be in Connecticut. I think that is Memorial Day weekend. It's not Memorial Day. And then July 13th, we'll be having the annual Addiction Recovery Music Fest right here at in Westminster, Maryland, Carroll County Ag Center, which is about a 10-minute drive from here.
You said that's July what?
July the 13th. So
I might even, wait and celebrate my 1 year when I come down here.
Dude, gang, get it, bruh. That'll be one. You'll have a year by then. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because July 3rd's my year.
One day
but,
at a time.
One day at a time.
Don't project too much. But also, September the 7th, we'll be in Hagerstown, Maryland. And then September 21st, we'll be in Denver, Colorado, baby, coming out to that West Coast. You know what it is. And then, and then September 28th, we're going to be coming back to Maryland, right here in our backyard, Frederick, Maryland, at Baker Park. Hope for Change Fest by Music is Medicine Foundation, bro. That
Music
shit
is
was
medicine.
lit last year. That'd be another good one to come back to Maryland for.
Oh,
bro.
I plan on being at everything this summer.
That's what's up, bro. So yeah, man, I'm so glad that you were able to come down and be a part of the podcast today, man. I'm glad you won the ticket for It Takes a Village, dude. I look forward to whatever God has in store for us. He brought each other together into our lives for a reason, a purpose. I'm excited to see where it takes us, man.
I am too, man.
We crossed paths, and here we are, dude. Clean brothers in recovery, doing big things tonight here in Baltimore at Baltimore Sound Stage, man. So if you missed it in the beginning of the podcast, it was the Move Your Feet music video. This shit just dropped this past week, man, and I'm so pumped about it.
Yeah.
A.live Pen has got a couple cameos in the video. Catch me figure skating, catch me at the airport, doing some different things. Yeah, but dude, Rem 1, B Rain, and Joe Nestor, they killed that song,
They
man.
killed it on this one.
Yo, actually, you know what I want you to do real quick? Lean back and pull that curtain back. Let's show everybody what's going on in the podcast studio these days. So, hold on 1 second. Alexa, make studio white.
I don't know how to set studio to that setting.
Unreal. Hey, Alexa, turn studio on. There it is. So what is that back there? Yeah, that's that new booth, man. We built a booth up in the stew. So pumped about that, man. So that's been under construction. And another guy in recovery built that, man. And so I'm just blessed to be able to live in this environment that I am like, this is where I thrive, man. I love music. Music is medicine, like we were talking about, man. So look out for that album, man. We're in the studio right now. We're recording that Full Circle album. That's that new album by B Rain. Expect to see that, I believe, in June. There's going to be a new album by Rem 1 called Mediation. Working on some things with Joe Nestor right now as well, and Nestor Nation. Man, dude, I'm so pumped with what the future holds for We Are Cloud Gang. And all of us in recovery in our personal lives, man, we all have our own paths, our own journeys, and we're supporting each other through the good, the bad, the thick, and the thin, man. And so that's what we do, man. We lift each other up. We pick each other up.
We're one big family and just spread out, like that's I told you yesterday before I got down here. Family reunion, baby.
Yeah. And I just want to talk about this one last thing before I play the music video. I know you guys are on the edge of your seats because it's that new music video, man. That's just fire. It's that hitter right there. But last night at the meeting, man, when people were introducing themselves and they were coming,
from all over the place.
We have people for this It Takes a Village concert at Baltimore Sound Stage today from Oregon. We got people from Chicago, Maine,
Texas,
dude, Florida,
New Hampshire, and then myself from Connecticut.
All
and then the
areas
people that were just surprised, like, by the people that were at the meeting last night from all over. Like, they knew people were coming for the show.
Yeah.
But they weren't expecting us all to show up for the meeting.
For the meeting, man. And that's what it's all about, man. So, look, dude, it's been great having you on here. Thanks again, Josh. Love you, bro.
Love you, man.
I look forward to our journey together, man. I look forward to tonight's going to be a lot of fun. So, again,
thank you for having me on. I mean,
absolutely.
Look at the difference there, man.
Yeah, dude.
Such a difference.
It's Josh in active addiction, man. And, like, look, we do recover, right?
We sure do.
If we stay clean and we chase our dreams, we can do this, man. So I'm going to show you guys this music video one last time. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 13 of the A.live podcast is now coming to conclusion. Check it out. Move your feet. We are Cloud Gang, baby. Peace.
This is Michael Moulton, Into the Rock Radio, iHeart Radio, and I want you to sit back, relax, because now we have the world premiere of my man B-Rain, Rim 1, Joe Nestor. We are Cloud Gang, because guess what we're going to do? We about to move your feet. Turn it up, baby, crank it up, because here we go. We're going to move your feet.
Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams.
Your attention, please. Please do not smoke in the terminal building. Smoking is only permitted in the specified smoking area.
Come on, started with a shoebox and a trash bag. In the city where you die on a bad batch. I remember I ain't have a thing to my name. Not a couple days clean, everything gotta change. Check the record. No card, no job, just a bus pass. Yeah. Baby face, I ain't even have a mustache. You know I grew up quick, the music blew up quick. The only thing I knew what true love is. They saying life is like a movie, everybody watching. Got to keep it Gucci while we laying down the options. They say we bout to profit, but you know we bout to message. Everybody count their money and forget to count their blessings. Sunshine when the rain goes. Gotta see it through the storm just to get a rainbow. I know it seemed hard, you feeling all alone. How you gonna see the world staring at a phone?
Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams.
We in the Winnebago corner of the market like Heisenberg. The genius they cooking up, so don't try it, that line of blur. The product is so superb, you blew it so you a herb. I'ma push it to the limit, got my balls in my word. Gotta pay attention around these dudes. CO, rapping never sweating, I'm the greed, they got the BO. Numbers way up, but I wouldn't wanna be. I was heavy in the street, but cut it down. Keto, knock, knock, let them in. I've been irrelevant, ladder 49. BMO represent, Cardinals in charge, trying to play my music for your friends. This is Hunger, Mock, and Jay. Let the game begin, try to knock it out the park, but they heard a foul ball. Why do old switch the anthem when I get around y'all? I've been gone with the U-Haul, yeah, for too long. You getting what I'm saying? We move to evolve.
Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams. Here's a dose of some daily motivation. J-Ness with the daily inspiration. Same flow, just a different situation. Me and Cloud Gang got the music medication. Fill the script, take a hit, hold it in, breathe it out. You can feel what we're really about. Just some feel good music when you down and you out. So you don't have to ride the wave, coming right on the cloud. Bet you didn't know that I be rapping on the down low. Got your heads bobbing up and down like the Dow Jones. Feel the groove now, bust a move now. Rocking all night long like a luau. So every time you hear that funky fresh beat drop, snap your fingers, let me see you make your knees knock. Cause we be tearing down the walls, call it sheetrock. J-Ness on time like a G-Shock. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams until the break of dawn. Till everybody's gone. We rockin' all night long. We rockin' all night long. Until the break of dawn. Till everybody's gone. We rockin' all night long. We rockin'. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams.
Cloud game.
Subscribe now at A.live Panda on YouTube.